Hello, children. In English, class 10, there is a book, Footprints Without Feet. And in that book, the name of that book is based on a chapter, Footprints Without Feet. That is a story also, and that is a very detective type story. And the story is about, I will tell you something about this story. I would like to tell you the summary first. That this story, Footprints Without Feet, is a story just like you have seen the movie Story India, where the main character is not visible to all. Whenever he wants, he makes himself invisible. This is the main thing. So this story, Footprints Without Feet, is about a scientist named Griffin, and he had been discovering ways which could make a man invisible. So this scientist is trying to discover, he is trying to discover a medicine. By eating that medicine, he wants to be invisible, and he wants to use this power of disappearing, not for stealing and for harming people. So this is bad. Actually, if some medicine comes like that, that would be not good, because there are many evil people who will misuse this. So this story gives a solution that this type of medicine is not good, and evil people can, bad people can use this power of invisibility in harming others. So this scientist Griffin has been discovering ways which could make a man invisible, and finally he discovered a medicine, and finally he used it on himself, and finally he swallowed himself certain rare drugs he had invented, and he was successful in making himself invisible. This is a science fiction. We should not forget that this is a science fiction. In science fiction, the writer is thinking about future, what science can invent in future. It is already invented in the literature. This is all product of his imagination. So what happens here? After eating, after swallowing his medicine, he was first noticed by the two boys. He was not noticed, his footprints were noticed. His footsteps started following. They saw the footsteps because it was muddy, and they followed it until the footsteps became fainter and fainter and cannot be seen. And first he is feeling cold. When he put off all his clothes, then he becomes completely invisible. If he wears some dresses, his dresses are visible, person is not visible. This was the effect of his medicine. And after the store shut down, he hid himself in a store, and after the store was shut down, he decides to steal some clothes, some warm clothes, and he steals something to eat. So what we see that actually he is using this for his own benefit, and his own benefit means the loss of somebody else. So he first unboxes a few clothes and wears them, and then from the kitchen of a restaurant he eats cold meat and some coffee, and for which he does not pay. He does not have to pay because he is involved in stealing these things. And later he goes to a grocery store and he eats sweets and drinks and wine, and he then falls asleep on the pile of quilts, and he then wakes up in the morning, and then some of the store assistants had seen him because he was wearing clothes, and he was not disappearing at that time. He was visible for some time. They started chasing him. Why you have taken place? Why you are living or staying in the store? And they wanted to take away clothes also he has taken, so he quickly threw away all the clothes he was wearing and became invisible again. And then he started roaming around again and without any clothes in the cold winters of London. And he then decides to steal clothes from a theatre company. As he knew he would get something there to cover his face as well, and he then steals bandages for his face. He uses masks on his face so that nobody can recognize him, and he uses dark glasses, false nose and a hat for covering himself. You see here, he then hits the shopkeeper and steals all his money, and soon he realizes that he needs some more things for his survival. And actually he's stealing also, and he's hitting also, steals money from the shopkeeper. And then he realized that he should live in a very calm, peaceful place, because London is a very crowded place, and he can be recognized, he can be caught there. So he, after inventing such medicine, he decides that he should live in a peaceful place, remote place, where he can do stealing and the act of disappearing. So he books two rooms. At an inn in a village, in a peaceful place. He decides to live in a peaceful place, and he reaches there, and it estranges him. And when he reaches there, it is really strange for the people of that place, Epping, that a stranger with such a weird appearance has come to stay in an inn during the winter season, because he has stolen money and he wanted to live there. So people were also surprised. People of that place were surprised once why this person is living here in a village, and when his money is over, he steals from people there also, and also hits the landlord and his wife. So this is his behavior of a criminal. He steals from people, hits them. He hits his landlord and his wife also, and try to shake his room in his absence. And then the village constable is asked to help, but before Mrs. Hall, who was the wife of the landlord asked him questions regarding who he is and what he did to her furniture. This makes him really furious. He becomes angry and decides to show her who he really is. And then the people then see a headless man. He becomes invisible again. His head becomes invisible, and Mr. Jeffers, the constable, also finds how to arrest this person who doesn't have a head, and they are unable to catch Griffin, as he removes all his clothes and becomes invisible completely. He even knocks out Jeffers as he tries to catch him, but he is not able to catch. So actually this person who is the main characteristic, Griffin, invented medicine, used it for harming people, could not be caught. All these things, rape, all these things indicate that the poet wants to say that we should not use such medicine. Such medicine actually should not be invented. If it is invented, many people will be harmed. So this was the message of the science fiction. You read in detail. Thank you. That's all for today. Bye.